Hello, my name is Nicole Munson. I carried my trash around for a month, and this is my story. And then it is a Sweetwater's bag also, together on this last day. It all weighs a grand total of quite 20 of a pound. I am currently a junior at Western Michigan University. My major is film, video, and media studies, and my minor, one of them, is anthropology. I'm currently taking a class on garbage cultures in America, and it is fascinating. I cannot believe how interesting trash is. We each had to do individual projects, and my project, I decided, would be to carry every piece of trash with me that I made in a day for that day. But I wanted to amp it up, so I did it for an entire month. I learned a lot during this time period with holding my garbage and with taking this class with Professor Hill. During the time period of the month, Professor Hill had us go on 2 different field trips. One of the field trips was to Loaves and Fishes, where I was permitted to do a lot of filming. And this was a particularly interesting field trip because it kind of dealt with a lot more of similar trash than I do. And because a lot of my trash was food related, if not food packaging. And I learned how much they reuse of their food. And they do a lot of gleaning, they said, and they do gleaning from companies like Target or Earth Fare or Kellogg, and they get kind of like, they'll get grains and oats and nuts so they can make their own trail mix. And I thought this was incredibly interesting because I always would have thought that, oh, if you have leftover nuts in your Kellogg, you would just throw them away. But to hear that they are using nuts and giving it to companies like Loaves and Fishes, so that way they can reuse it and make it into something else.
But when you start talking about dating, food dating, it's the best by date, the use by date, the sell by date is not a food safety concern. What happens to the product is that it starts losing its color after that date. It may not taste the way that you would hope it would taste if you were the manufacturer. And at some point it starts losing nutrition. But unless the can's bulging, unless it has stains on it, that sort of thing, we'll keep it for up to a year past its date. And again, it's not a food safety.
I found it really interesting how long they will keep a can of food. They said they keep it up to a year after the expiration date. And I thought this was really interesting because I've always been a person who throws things away on time. And they're still keeping it. They're promising that it's still good, that it's still usable, and they're giving back to the community, even though it's something that many people would take advantage of and just be like, oh, it says the expiration date, toss it away, myself particularly. The gist of what I learned, because I'm focusing more on how much trash we make, and for them it was how much food trash or produce or whatever cans, whatever they get, can not be reused, and what do they do afterwards. I learned in a general census that for every 10,000 pounds of food that they get, about for every week they have to throw away about 1,000 pounds. Alright, hello, today is March 21st. It is day 21 of Carry My Trash, and today I have my friends Sydney and Priya with me. We worked on a short film together at my house, and today we're gonna go through all of our trash, and they're gonna guess how much trash we made today. The most interesting day carrying trash was definitely on March 21st when I was filming my short film 1207 here at my house. I had my friends come over, I had actors, and it was awesome, except for our entire shoot was incredibly messy. We made blood and we ripped up a t-shirt and we put blood on the walls, and in order to not get it to stain the walls, you have to put Vaseline. So you can imagine just how many Clorox wipes and tissues and paper towels that I used. In fact, that day we made almost 2 pounds of trash, and that was just for the shoot alone. I thought that was incredibly amazing. That an entire shoot for a film, including food and props and everything that needed to be thrown away, would only amount to 1.63 pounds of trash. It was insane. I definitely had a lot of fun with that day, and it was just amazing. The least amount of trash that I made in one day was a single Halls wrapper. I was blown away. It's amazing how little trash we can make in a day if we just use what we have at home. I started reusing containers, and I would put leftovers in other containers that you wouldn't think of. I have a spinach carton and I put new spinach in that. I don't throw it away. I wash out the carton when I'm done and I put new spinach in. The day that I had the least amount of trash, I had leftovers. I put things away in a different bag. I was on top. And I only made one Halls wrapper, and I was just incredibly proud of myself. So before we get to the grand total, I'm going to let you in on a few statistics. So the average trash production per American per day in America is 4.63 pounds. This was kind of a number that both shocked me and did not surprise me. What really surprised me was the average trash production per American per day compared to my average for the month. Compared to 4.63 pounds a day, my daily average was 0.48 pounds. I barely reached half a pound. The amount of trash that I made this entire month is 15.17 pounds. That is so below the average of what I thought I was going to make. I thought I would at least make 100 pounds of trash this month. And I'm very pleased with myself. That shows that I don't use a lot of things that require trash. I know there's some things that I could not quite carry with me, some things that were rotten, unsanitary, but there was still trash being made. This is kind of an interesting question because I completely noticed a change from my normal behavior before and after the entire project. Even during the month, I noticed a complete change. Before, I just really threw away anything. It really kind of, when I threw away something, it really didn't stay in my mind and I really didn't think on it. During the project, for the first few days, it was kind of hard because it's like, oh, I need to remember to carry my trash. But as I kept going, it got easier and easier and easier, and holding the trash with me was kind of a habit, and it kind of stuck with me. Even after a week after the project ended, I was still having that mindset of, I need to carry this with me. And I got really excited because I could actually throw things away. And I was so excited. I would tell everybody, I'd be like, my roommate, guess what? I can throw this piece of tissue paper away. And it was ridiculous. I was so excited about throwing things away. But I think what changed the most was my attitude during the month. I'll use the example of the spinach because I eat a lot of spinach. I love spinach, especially sauteed spinach. And what I did is at the beginning of the month I had this plastic container that I got the spinach in, and it was big and I didn't want to carry it. So I decided to wash it out, and when I got a new bag of spinach, I opened up the bag, I put the spinach in the box, and then I put the box back in the fridge. And it kind of was a really good idea because it made me think about how I'm recycling something. I couldn't think of another way to reuse the bag, so I ended up using that as a way to carry my trash. But it was really interesting how I would think of these creative ways to reuse something. I ended up using up a box of tissues. I use that box of tissues right now as a little kind of garbage can for my makeup area. And that has been really helpful to have because now I'm not just leaving it over there. I'm not walking all the way over here to do it. I can just plop it in there, and then when it's completely full, I can just throw it away. So it really changed how I acted around trash and with trash and what I saw as trash, because things that I didn't want to carry, I tended to think of a different way to use it. So, with that, today was March 31st. It was the last day of carrying my trash. Good job.